Pain is an inevitable part of life, and there is no escaping it. When you've been hurt, broken, or betrayed despite your kindness, the weight of that pain can feel unbearable. It's tempting to push it away, to pretend it doesn't exist, or to distract yourself with busyness, hoping the ache you will dissolve on its own. But pain doesn't work that way. It lingers, it festers, and it demands to be acknowledged. The first step to healing, to moving forward, is to face your pain with honesty and courage. You cannot heal what you refuse to confront. Admitting that you've been hurt doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. Often we convince ourselves that acknowledging pain means admitting defeat, but the truth is quite the opposite. When you face your pain, you're taking the first step toward regaining control of your life. You're saying, yes, this happened to me. Yes, it hurt. But I am still here, and I'm ready to deal with it. There's strength in that vulnerability. There's power in admitting that you're not okay, because it's the first step toward becoming okay again. It's important to sit with your emotions and allow yourself to feel them fully. If you're angry, let yourself be angry. If you're sad, let the tears fall. Trying to suppress those emotions only gives them more power over you. Bottled up pain doesn't disappear, it grows heavier, weighing you down in ways you might not even realize. It manifests as sleepless nights, unexplainable irritability, or a constant sense of unease. But when you acknowledge your pain, you give yourself permission to release it. You're no longer carrying it alone, pretending it doesn't exist. There's also a tendency to minimize your feelings, to tell yourself, it's not that bad or other people have it worse, while empathy for others is important. Your pain is valid, no matter how it compares to someone else's experience. Your emotions are real, and they deserve your attention. Comparing your hurt to someone else's only diminishes your ability to process it. You are allowed to grieve. You are allowed to feel disappointed, betrayed, or broken. Denying yourself that acknowledgement is like refusing to clean a wound. It won't heal properly, and it might even worsen over time. Acknowledging your pain also means giving it a name. Be specific about what hurt you. Was it the betrayal of a close friend? The rejection of someone you cared for deeply? The realization that your kindness wasn't reciprocated? Naming your pain can be uncomfortable, but it's a crucial part of the process. When you name it, you take away some of its power. It becomes something you can examine, understand, and ultimately move past. It's equally important to separate your pain from your identity. Just because you've been hurt doesn't mean you are broken beyond repair. Pain is an experience, not a definition. It's something you're going through, not something you are. Too often, we let our pain become a label we carry, allowing it to shape how we see ourselves and how we believe others see us. But you are more than what has happened to you. You are more than the hurt you feel. Acknowledging your pain is not about letting it define you. It's about recognizing it so you can work through it. In acknowledging your pain, you also give yourself the chance to learn from it. Pain has a way of teaching us lessons that joy never could. It reveals what truly matters to us, who we can trust, and where we need to set boundaries in the future. It shows us our capacity for resilience and our ability to endure even the hardest moments. But none of that learning can happen if you refuse to face it. Pain is a teacher, and while its lessons may be harsh, they are invaluable. This process is not easy, and it doesn't happen overnight. Acknowledging your pain takes time, patience, and a great deal of courage. But it is a necessary step if you want to move forward. Pretending you're fine when you're not doesn't make the pain go away, it only delays the healing process. And healing, true healing, begins with honesty. It begins with looking your pain in the eye and saying, I see you, I feel you, and I am ready to deal with you. Only then can you start to let it go. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful tools for healing, but it's also one of the hardest to practice. When someone has hurt you deeply, especially when you've shown them nothing but kindness, the idea of forgiving them can feel impossible. You may feel as though forgiving them is letting them off the hook, as if it excuses their behavior or diminishes the impact of what they've done. But forgiveness is not about condoning what happened or forgetting it altogether. Forgiveness is about freeing yourself. It's about releasing the hold that anger, resentment, and pain have on your life so you can move forward unburdened. Holding on to anger might feel justified, and in some ways it is. When you've been wronged, it's natural to want the other person to feel the weight of their actions. You might even believe that by staying angry, you're somehow holding them accountable. But the truth is, holding on to that anger doesn't hurt them, it hurts you. It keeps you tied to the pain of what happened, replaying it over and over in your mind. It drains your energy, clouds your thoughts, and robs you of the peace you deserve. Forgiveness isn't for them, it's for you. It's the key that unlocks the door to your own freedom. To forgive, you must first make the decision to let go. This doesn't mean that the pain disappears instantly or that the scars vanish overnight. Forgiveness is a process, and it takes time. It begins with the willingness to release the grip that the past has on you. It's about saying to yourself, I will not let this hurt control my life anymore. This doesn't mean you'll never feel anger or sadness again. Those emotions will come, but they won't dominate you. They'll pass through you instead of taking root within you. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. In fact, forgetting can sometimes do more harm than good. Forgetting allows you to fall into the same patterns, to repeat the same mistakes, or to let the same people hurt you again. Forgiveness, on the other hand, allows you to remember in a way that empowers you. It allows you to take the lessons from your pain without carrying the weight of it. It's about saying, I see what happened, I've learned from it, and I won't let it happen again. Learning the lesson is just as important as the act of forgiving. The pain you've experienced carries valuable lessons if you're willing to look for them. Perhaps it teaches you about setting boundaries, about recognizing red flags, or about valuing yourself enough to walk away from people who don't treat you with respect. Maybe it shows you the importance of trusting your instincts or prioritizing your own well-being. These lessons don't diminish your kindness, they strengthen it. They make your kindness wiser, more intentional, and better protected. Forgiveness also doesn't mean reconciliation. Just because you've forgiven someone doesn't mean they deserve a place in your life. Forgiveness is about your peace, not their comfort. You can forgive someone and still choose to walk away from them. You can let go of the anger and pain they caused without inviting them back into your heart. In fact, sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself and for them is to let go completely. It allows you to heal, and it gives them the space to reflect on their actions. At its core, forgiveness is an act of self-love. It's a way of saying, I value my peace, my happiness, and my future more than I value holding on to this pain. It's about reclaiming your power and refusing to let what happened to you define who you are. Forgiveness doesn't erase the past, but it transforms your relationship with it. It takes the sting out of the memories and replaces it with wisdom. It allows you to carry the lesson without carrying the hurt. Choosing to forgive is not easy, and it often feels like an uphill battle. There will be moments when the pain resurfaces, when the anger flares up, and when you wonder if you've really forgiven at all. In those moments, Remind yourself why you chose to forgive in the first place. It wasn't for them, it was for you. It was to set yourself free, to lighten your load, and to make room for joy, love, and peace in your life. Forgiveness is not a single act, but a journey, one that leads you toward the life you deserve. Reclaiming your power is about taking back control of your life, your emotions, and your future after being hurt or broken. When someone has wronged you, it's easy to feel powerless, as if they've stolen something essential from you. The betrayal, the disappointment, and the loss can leave you questioning your worth and doubting your ability to move forward. But the truth is, no one has the right to take your power unless you allow it. Reclaiming it is not about revenge or proving a point to others. It's about standing up for yourself and deciding that you will no longer let the actions of someone else dictate your happiness or self-worth. The first step to reclaiming your power is recognizing that it is still within you. Pain and heartbreak have a way of clouding your perception, making you feel smaller and weaker than you really are. But your power never truly disappears. It might be buried under layers of hurt, anger, or self-doubt, but it's still there, waiting for you to uncover it. This realization is the foundation of reclaiming your strength. It's a declaration to yourself that you are not defined by what happened to you, but by how you choose to respond. Reclaiming your power also means setting boundaries. Often people who have been hurt continue to allow others to overstep their limits, either out of fear of confrontation or a desire to keep the peace. But every time you compromise your boundaries to accommodate someone who doesn't respect you, you give away a piece of your power. Setting boundaries is not selfish, it's an act of self-respect. It's about deciding what you will and won't tolerate in your life and standing firm in those decisions. Boundaries are not about keeping people out, but about protecting your energy and ensuring that those who enter your life do so with respect and care. Taking back your power also requires shifting your focus. When you dwell on the actions of those who hurt you, you give them control over your thoughts and emotions. You replay the pain, analyze their motives, and wonder what you could have done differently. But this focus only keeps you stuck in the past, chained to an experience that no longer serves you. Reclaiming your power means redirecting your energy toward yourself. It's about focusing on your growth, your goals, and your healing. It's about putting yourself first and refusing to let the actions of others dictate your narrative. Another key to reclaiming your power is embracing your ability to make choices. When you've been hurt, it can feel like you've lost control of your life. But the truth is, you always have a choice in how you respond. You can choose to let the pain define you, or you can choose to rise above it. You can choose to dwell on what was lost, or you can choose to focus on what you can gain. Every decision you make, no matter how small, is an opportunity to take back control and shape your future. Reclaiming your power is about recognizing that you are not a victim of circumstance, but an active participant in your own life. Reclaiming your power also involves self-forgiveness. Sometimes the hardest person to forgive is yourself. You may blame yourself for trusting too much, for not seeing the red flags, or for staying in a situation longer than you should have. But holding on to that blame only keeps you stuck. Forgiving yourself is an act of liberation. It's about acknowledging that you did the best you could with what you knew at the time, and giving yourself permission to move forward without the weight of guilt. One of the most empowering things you can do is to rewrite the narrative of your pain. Instead of seeing yourself as someone who was hurt or broken, see yourself as someone who is resilient and capable of overcoming anything. Use your pain as fuel to propel you toward your goals. Let it teach you about your strength, your worth, and your capacity for growth. Reclaiming your power means turning your pain into purpose, using it as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. Reclaiming your power is about reclaiming your life. It's about standing tall, even in the face of adversity, and refusing to let anyone or anything diminish your light. It's about taking ownership of your journey and deciding every single day to choose yourself. The road to reclaiming your power is not always easy, but it is always worth it. With every step you take, you move closer to the person you are meant to be, stronger, wiser, and more in control of your destiny. The people you choose to surround yourself with have a profound impact on your mindset, emotions, and overall sense of well-being. After experiencing hurt or heartbreak, it becomes even more crucial to be intentional about the energy and influence you allow into your life. Surrounding yourself with positive influences doesn't just help you heal, it creates a foundation for growth, empowerment, and resilience. These are the people who will lift you up, remind you of your worth, and encourage you to see the possibilities that lie ahead. When you're in a vulnerable state, the company you keep can either support your healing or prolong your pain. It's easy to gravitate toward people who may commiserate with your pain or validate your feelings of anger and resentment. While empathy and understanding are essential, surrounding yourself with individuals who constantly dwell on negativity can keep you stuck in a cycle of bitterness and hopelessness. Positive influences, on the other hand, help you focus on solutions, growth, and the opportunities that arise even in difficult times. They remind you that there's more to life than the pain you've experienced and encourage you to take steps toward a brighter future. Positive influences can take many forms. They might be friends who listen without judgment, mentors who inspire you to strive for greatness, or family members who remind you of the strength you've always had. They might also be people you've never met personally, such as authors, speakers, or public figures whose messages resonate with you and help you see the world differently. What matters is that these influences align with the version of yourself you're striving to become, stronger, wiser, and more at peace with your life. One of the first steps to surrounding yourself with positive influences is to evaluate your current relationships. Ask yourself, do the people in your life bring out the best in you? Do they encourage you to grow and support you during tough times? Or do they drain your energy, amplify your insecurities, and keep you stuck in the past? It's not always an easy evaluation, especially when it involves people you've known for years. But recognizing which relationships are nurturing and which are toxic is essential for your healing and growth. Letting go of negative influences can be one of the hardest but most liberating decisions you'll ever make. This doesn't necessarily mean cutting people out of your life entirely, though in some cases that may be necessary. It could mean setting boundaries, limiting your interactions, or choosing not to engage in conversations or behaviors that don't align with your values and goals. Protecting your peace is not selfish, it's a form of self-respect. When you prioritize your well-being, you create space for more uplifting and encouraging connections to enter your life. Surrounding yourself with positive influences also means actively seeking out environments and communities that align with your aspirations and values. This could be a support group, a professional network, or a circle of friends who share your interests and passions. Being around people who are striving for growth and positivity creates a ripple effect in your own life. Their energy, attitudes, and actions can inspire you to take steps you might not have considered otherwise. They show you what's possible when you choose to focus on the good, even in challenging times. It's important to remember that positive influences don't always have to be external. You can be your own source of positivity by cultivating habits and practices that uplift and empower you. Engage in activities that bring you joy, whether it's exercising, journaling, meditating, or pursuing a hobby you love. The more you invest in your own happiness and self-care, the more you'll attract people who value and support those same priorities. Positivity is contagious, and when you radiate it, you naturally draw others who share that energy into your life. Surrounding yourself with positive influences also involves practicing gratitude for the people and experiences that bring light into your life. When you focus on what's going well and appreciate those who support you, you reinforce a mindset of abundance and resilience. Gratitude shifts your perspective, allowing you to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. It reminds you that even in the midst of pain, there is beauty, kindness, and love to be found if you're open to receiving it. Surrounding yourself with positive influences is about creating a life that uplifts you and aligns with your vision of who you want to be. It's about making conscious choices to protect your energy, prioritize your well-being, and seek out connections that encourage growth and joy. The people you allow into your life play a significant role in shaping your journey. And when you choose positivity, you set yourself on a path to healing, empowerment, and a future filled with possibility. Setting firm boundaries is one of the most powerful acts of self-respect and self-care you can undertake, especially after experiencing pain or betrayal. Boundaries are not about keeping people out, but about defining how you want to be treated and what you are willing to accept in your life. They are a declaration of your worth, your values, and your desire to protect your emotional and mental well-being. When you set boundaries, you reclaim control over your life and take an important step toward healing and growth. One of the first things to understand about boundaries is that they are not selfish. Too often, people hesitate to establish limits out of fear that they will seem cold, unkind, or dismissive. But boundaries are not about punishment or exclusion, they are about clarity and respect. They communicate to others how you expect to be treated and allow you to preserve your energy and focus on what truly matters to you. Without boundaries, you risk becoming overwhelmed, drained, or taken advantage of, leaving little room for your own healing and growth. Creating boundaries begins with self-awareness. You must first identify what behaviors, actions, or dynamics are unacceptable to you. This requires honest reflection on your values, needs, and priorities. For instance, if someone constantly disrespects your time, disregards your feelings, or brings negativity into your life, it's essential to recognize these patterns and decide how you will address them. Self-awareness helps you define the limits that will protect your peace and ensure you're not compromising your well-being for the sake of others. Once you've identified your boundaries, the next step is to communicate them clearly and confidently. This can feel uncomfortable, especially if you're not used to asserting yourself, but it's a necessary part of the process. When setting boundaries, it's important to be direct and specific. Instead of vague statements like, "I don't like that," say something like, "I need you to respect my time by letting me know in advance if plans change." Clear communication leaves little room for misunderstanding and ensures that others are aware of your expectations. It's also important to remember that setting boundaries is not about controlling other people. It's about controlling how you respond to their behavior. You cannot force someone to change or respect your boundaries, but you can decide how you will handle the situation if they don't. This might mean limiting your interactions with certain people, walking away from toxic relationships, or taking a break from environments that don't align with your values. By taking responsibility for your own actions and choices, you empower yourself to create a life that prioritizes your well-being. One of the challenges of setting boundaries is dealing with resistance from others. Not everyone will appreciate or accept your boundaries, especially if they've benefited from your lack of them in the past. Some people may push back, guilt trip you, or even try to manipulate you into changing your mind. It's important to stand firm and remind yourself why you're setting these limits in the first place. Your boundaries are not up for negotiation. They are a reflection of your commitment to yourself and your healing. Enforcing boundaries requires consistency and courage. It's not enough to set them, you must also follow through with the consequences if they are crossed. This might mean distancing yourself from people who refuse to respect your limits or ending relationships that are harmful to your well-being. While these decisions can be difficult, they are often necessary to protect your peace and create space for healthier connections in your life. Remember, enforcing boundaries is not about being harsh or unforgiving. It's about honoring your worth and refusing to settle for less than you deserve. Another aspect of setting boundaries is learning to say no without guilt. For many people, saying no feels uncomfortable or even wrong, especially if they're used to putting others' needs before their own. But saying no is a crucial part of maintaining your boundaries and ensuring you're not overextending yourself. It's not about rejecting others, it's about prioritizing your own needs and recognizing that you cannot pour from an empty cup. Every time you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you're saying yes to your own well-being. Boundaries are not just about protecting yourself from harm, they are also about creating a foundation for healthier relationships. When you set and enforce boundaries, you teach others how to treat you and encourage mutual respect and understanding. Healthy boundaries foster trust, communication, and accountability, allowing you to build connections that are supportive, empowering, and aligned with your values. Setting firm boundaries is an act of love for yourself and for those around you. It's a way of saying, I value myself enough to protect my peace, and I value you enough to communicate my needs clearly. While the process may be challenging, the rewards are immeasurable. By setting boundaries, you reclaim your power, prioritize your well-being, and create a life that reflects your worth and values. Life doesn't stop for anyone, no matter how much pain or heartache we experience. Moving forward is not just a choice, it's a necessity. It's a declaration that no matter what happens, you refuse to be defined by the wounds of your past. Moving forward means embracing the idea that life still has so much to offer, even when it feels like everything has fallen apart. It's about taking control of your narrative and choosing to write a new chapter, no matter how difficult or uncertain it may seem. The process of moving forward begins with acceptance. You must come to terms with what has happened, acknowledging the hurt without allowing it to consume you. This doesn't mean pretending it didn't matter or brushing it aside. It means giving yourself the grace to feel the emotions, process them, and then decide to release them. Acceptance is not a sign of weakness, it's a profound act of strength. It says, I see what has happened, and I choose not to let it define me. Once you've accepted your reality, you create space for growth and transformation. Moving forward also requires a shift in mindset. It's easy to dwell on what you've lost or what could have been, but focusing on the past will only keep you stuck. Instead, redirect your energy toward what lies ahead. This doesn't mean ignoring your feelings or pretending everything is fine. It means choosing to believe that better days are possible and working toward them. A forward-focused mindset is about finding hope in the midst of despair and using that hope as a driving force to keep going. Another critical part of moving forward is taking small, intentional steps every day. Progress doesn't happen overnight, and healing is rarely linear. Some days you may feel strong and capable, while other days you might struggle to even get out of bed. That's okay. What matters is that you keep moving, even if it's just one small step at a time. Whether it's reaching out to a friend, starting a new hobby, or simply taking a walk outside, every action you take toward your future is a victory. These small steps build momentum, and over time, they add up to meaningful progress. It's also important to remember that moving forward doesn't mean forgetting. The experiences that hurt us are a part of our story, and they can teach us valuable lessons if we're willing to learn from them. Moving forward means carrying those lessons with you, not as a burden, but as a source of strength and wisdom. It's about using what you've been through to become a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. The past may have shaped you, but it doesn't have to define you. As you move forward, you may encounter setbacks. Healing is not a straight path, and there will be moments when the pain resurfaces or when you feel like you've taken a step backward. In those moments, it's crucial to show yourself compassion. Understand that setbacks are a natural part of the process, not a sign of failure. Use them as an opportunity to reflect, recalibrate, and recommit to your journey. Resilience is not about never falling, it's about getting back up every time you do. Surrounding yourself with supportive and uplifting people can also make a significant difference as you move forward. The journey of healing and growth is easier when you have a network of people who believe in you, encourage you, and remind you of your worth. Seek out those who inspire you to be better and who celebrate your progress, no matter how small. At the same time, distance yourself from those who hold you back or bring negativity into your life. Moving forward means creating an environment that fosters growth and positivity. One of the most empowering aspects of moving forward is rediscovering your purpose. When you've been hurt or broken, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters to you. But moving forward gives you the opportunity to reconnect with your passions, dreams, and goals. It's a chance to reevaluate what you want from life and to start building a future that aligns with your values and aspirations. By focusing on your purpose, you shift your attention away from the pain and toward the possibilities that lie ahead. Moving forward is about reclaiming your joy. It's about giving yourself permission to smile, laugh, and find happiness again, even in the midst of hardship. Joy doesn't erase the pain, but it reminds you that life is still worth living. Seek out the things that bring you peace and fulfillment, whether it's spending time in nature, pursuing a creative passion, or simply being present in the moment. Embracing joy is a powerful act of resilience. It's a way of saying that no matter what you've been through, you choose to keep living, keep loving, and keep growing.